So good morning, Eduardo. We would like to welcome you to this session. And yes, we are very excited to know about your professional career, and we are looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you. Let me share my screen now.
Yes.
Can you see it? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for the opportunity to share my history with entrepreneur in Latin American countries. I am Dominican born and raised, and we have a tech company, a clean tech company called LATAM Bioenergy, where we have developed a platform for the conversion of agro-industrial waste into energy, thermal and electricity. And I have put together a couple of slides that might help you better understand the story behind LATAM and what we're trying to accomplish. And then we can open up the session for any questions of the participants. So basically what we have targeted as biomass is any organic waste that is not considered to be part of the human food chain. So we are very selective on the fuels that we want to use in order to convert to energy. In this picture, you can see pruning and maintenance wood residues from the olive production in Argentina. We also use the olive press residue afterwards, after they make the olive oil, different kinds of olive oil. You get this press residue at the very end of the process that has a couple of other uses, and after that is dried and converted into electricity. On the top left, you can see avocado seeds. In the middle, you can see coconut shells, rice husk, and then there are energy farms. Energy farms are basically developed in marginal land where fast, rapid growing trees are planted to improve the soil and then rotated for biomass generation and then clean electricity in those regions. So again, we are targeting organic waste that will never be part of the human food chain. That's the biomass that we are attacking. So our niche would be the small to medium size agro-industrial company in Latin American countries. And our vision is to create this portfolio of efficient clean energy cogeneration plants that support the food and beverage production by recovering this biomass from their operation. In this slide, you can see that same olive oil producer that you saw at the beginning of the presentation. In this case, what we're doing is converting the pruning to wood chips, standardizing the fuel, and for further processing the gasification machine. These are modular on-site biomass gasification system that convert, again, the biomass into gas, not burning it, but converting into gas. And once this gas is produced, we can cogenerate. We can create electricity and heat simultaneously. So this blue gas that you see at the end, it's the clean gas from biomass. So we identify and contribute with better ways of satisfying these local energy demands with more efficient solutions that are in line with the sustainable development of progress and the environment. So we are creating a circular economy, changing the old paradigm from traditional agro-industrial processes. If we start at the beginning with the number one, where the feedstock is introduced to the agro-industrial facility, they produce the food and beverage. And then in the number three, by that production, they create this excess material, organic waste that we call biomass. That biomass is then presented into the technological platform where we convert it simultaneously in electricity, heat, gas, steam, and a byproduct that we call biochar, well known in the market. That in the number five, you can see that we return that organic matter to the field as a soil enhancer. And further down the road, I'll present all the benefits that comes with biochar applications on the field, growing back the same feedstock that will create again this circular economy. So our technology creates 5 products simultaneously. It's thermal energy, electricity, hot air, hot water, and biochar, all together at the same time. And that's what tackles the operating cost of any agro-industrial using our technology. So about a little bit of our technology, I would like to show you a very short 40 seconds video of how it works. These are wood chips as fuel with a very user-friendly software. This is the reactor at 900 degrees Celsius, converting the solid into gas with very limited oxygen. This gas is used in the Huáscar engine. And we can co-generate electricity, heat and power. And again, it's 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if it's dry season or daylight or daytime or nighttime. You will be generating clean energy. In this application, the gas from biomass, the gas from biomass in this application is being used as a fuel for steam generation. So we're creating steam without fossils here. And that's something that is changing the paradigm in the Dominican Republic, for example, where the majority of the fuel for steam generation on the agro-industrials is bunker fuel, fuel oil, or propane gas, or natural gas. In this case is gas from biomass, so clean gas for this application. Going back to the same olive oil producer, this is the machine producing the olive oil, and to the left, some of the filters of the gasifier.
Excuse me, the screen is not viewed. It's a black screen. Can you change the slide, please?
Let me try to share again. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so going back to this, this is the engine generating electricity with our gas. And this is a client that produces pet food. Again, that's exclusively using gas as a biomass gas as a fuel. The byproduct is this biochar that you can see now on the screen, and this is where we're going to answer a little bit of questions, I guess, at the end as well. This biochar is organic matter that we are using it as a soil enhancer, but it has many other uses. For example, for every time that you use biochar into the soil again, you are sequestering 3 tons of CO2 equivalent per ton of biochar. And this is, again, part of the formula of how our technology is helping the environment. We are replacing the fossil fuels for electricity and thermal applications, and also sequestering carbon every time we use the carbon into the soil, the biochar, sorry, to the soil. For every plant that biochar is introduced to, it has many benefits. It fixes nutrients, it improves the yield of the plant, it strengthens the plant. It works somehow like a storage for nutrients. So the plant basically never is hungry. So it strengthens the plant. It's prone to less plagues. It improves the soil and returns the organic matter to the soil, reducing the need of chemical fertilizers. Again, we are using it as a soil enhancer, but biochar has many uses depending on which biomass is coming from. You can do activated carbon. You can use as a replacement for material construction. You can again use it as biofuel. If you have pet food, this biochar in very small doses can help, for example, chicken and cattle to digest better the food, so they would be less prone to get sick, and then improve your yield as well as a company. So any plant that we develop, our strategy complies with 11 of the 17 goals to transform our world, the Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that the participants may have.
Thank you so much. Firstly, thank you so much for sharing such amazing insights about the project. There are a few questions, personally from my side and also from the audience. Beginning with the audience, I have a question that could you please share with us the benefits of biochar? Is it a carbon sink?
Well, actually, the application of biochar as a soil enhancer, giving back organic matter to the soil, it's demonstrated that sequesters 3 tons of CO2 equivalent for every ton of biochar used. Again, most of the biochar is different, depending on which biomass it's coming from. You would have different kind of biochar. So it depends on the biochar, the biomass, the kind of biochar, the physical chemical characteristics of that biochar will give you different results.
Amazing. I personally want to know that which industries can have a byproduct as biochar.
Okay, so any agro-industrial that is working on producing rice, peanuts, olive, woody residues, anything that it's has a lignina. Sorry for the getting lost in translation. Yes, that would give you the best solutions.
Okay, what kind of investments are required for adopting such technology?
Okay, so this is a very, very interesting question, and this is where the business model comes from. We are basically, if you use the same unit to measure, for example, X amount of dollars per megawatt installed, worldwide, you have between $4 or $5 million per megawatt installed in this kind of platform, and we're tackling it at around $2.5 million per megawatt installed. Again, this is designed for 24-hour operations, and it doesn't have only one product like the traditional technology, but 5 products. So the return on investment it's very fast.
Okay. Do you think like we need, there is a lot of scope for initiatives that can support bioenergy industry?
It depends on the country to country. I can speak about Latin America. We have, for example, in the Dominican Republic, we have very good incentives for implementing clean tech, renewable energy, especially solar, wind, and biomass. Hydro, it's getting a little bit more of interest now, small hydro. But for example, different countries in South America will give you protective, protective tariffs. So they would try to help local producers, industrials producers over there. So it would depend from country to country. But
Do
the
you
trend is
expect,
positive. Yes.
yes, do you expect any kind of initiatives from the government?
No choice. I think all of the countries are moving towards renewable energy. They are more aware of climate change. Climate change is, more tangible and obvious year by year. We see all of everywhere. You can see any by any unit you want to measure it. So governments are trying to implementing now this strategy also because renewable energy has become more economically accessible too. So the trend is, yes, positive.
One last technical question, that how expensive would the transportation be in transporting the byproducts?
Yes, this is something that is very important to have in mind when you are implementing a project, because you don't want to replace all of the good things that you're doing with the environment by consuming fuel. So yes, we have learned that a radius of 50 kilometers around the focal point of the production will give you for biomass transportation the economic limit. But then again, the byproduct of biochar, because it has a very acceptable market and a more interesting market than biomass itself, it will allow you to export to other countries.
It's amazing about your contribution in the clean energy transition. Our audience is also interested in knowing more about your professional background and what inspired you to become a clean energy entrepreneur.
Okay. Well, I'm a finance guy. I was trained in finance. I used to work in Wall Street with a Dominican-owned bank in New York, and managing the treasury desk over there. But we wanted to. I guess I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and that has to do a lot with my family background and where I'm coming from, I guess. To willing and wanted to give back something. So I wanted to do a business. I wanted to create a business basically that would be sustainable no matter what economic conditions are, because you always gonna need food for for the population, and you're always gonna need energy to create it. So basically, that's where I get tangled with finding the solution um, to create a technological company that will help that.
Amazing. Uh, like we would also like to know that what you look forward to achieving in your near and long future.
Well, I definitely would love to have this technology deployed in the entire region. But most importantly, I would definitely like to see my customers happy with the solution by being able to create a product that has a very small carbon footprint, but also that is very economical, that their operating expenses coming from energy would drop to whatever percentage, as low as they can get them. So that would make them more sustainable business in itself. And if our technology can help to overcome that, then we'll be very happy.
Do you believe that this is only initiative for taking up or reducing carbon emissions or for the climate targets, or also for the business perspective? What are your insights?
Well, I believe that when talking business, money comes first, and the economic impact for the client comes first, and that's how you get them. That's how you get them interested. Basically, making an economic sense of this investment, but doing it responsibly, doing it, more intelligently. If by doing this investment you lower your operating expenses and then you help the environment, well, it will become a no-brainer for them. Also, what is helping more now, it's the trend of their customers, our customers' customer, that will demand a product that has a lower carbon footprint. So that helps us grow.
What do you recommend for young people that want to become entrepreneurs like you? I'm one of them.
Don't give up. Try to, do your homework. Try to come up with tackling that economic hurdle first, and try to anticipate all of these barriers, human barrier, culture. This is for example, we're doing a high-tech solution to a very low-tech, traditional low-tech industry or sector. So it's hard. The sale is not an easy one. So we have to anticipate all of this stuff.
That's great. What was the most challenging at the beginning of LATAM Bioenergy?
Can I say that in ranking?
It's been a long time, but I know that it would be a very difficult process. But yes, for the people who would like to contribute in the same technology or bioenergy industry, maybe this would be very helpful from your end.
Well, yeah, when I say do your own homework, it's because of the experience. It's because not everything on paper that looks great on paper it's true. So and not everything that works in a market or in a different sector would work in another country. So the technology aspect of at the beginning, as it is a disruptive technology, has been a challenging path, but the human path, I think the human input, it's the most difficult one. When you're trying to accomplish something, and have your team on board all the time against all barriers and with the same amount of effort, year after year, overcoming these challenges, it takes a toll on you and your team. So the human aspect of success, it's very tough, but rewarding. I think it's the most rewarding one as well.
Do you think that this is the time to invest in bioenergy for the new entrepreneurs to take up bioenergy technology ahead?
Definitely. You have the market for yourself. Not in the way traditional renewable energy like solar and wind, where only big companies can accomplish big things, but it's very broad. If you think about the on-site solutions that you can bring for companies or for residential, you still have a lot of market to run.
There has been a debate in about the bioenergy sector going on about the food with fuel or the food versus fuel. What do you think about that?
Well, we have a very straightforward approach to that. If it fits a belly, we will not create an energy with it, period.
Okay. Do you have any tips for our participants in the session?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any useful tips for our audience in the session from your end, like personal tips?
Well, I think doing your homework, getting to know your market, getting to know your clients, it's very important. And trying to anticipate all of the barriers that they would come up with. That's going to be, I think, the head start from our part, young entrepreneur, um, to try to gain the client and the market. And again, we're entrepreneurs, so we are creating a business that is more responsible, that it's better for the environment, but at the end, it's a business.
Thank you so much. It's been a great session, and there are audience and participants here who are really thanking you for sharing the technology and the project you're working on. Yes.
Well, thank you for the opportunity again, and very happy to and honored to be here and sharing our experience with more people.
It's really interesting to hear about the circular economy as a clean energy cycle too. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and I would like to thank our expert and participant as well for this active session. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everybody.